Maybe you shouldn't be in charge of purchasing the alcohol.
Oh, it was Canadian. It was
Not really at all, even a little bit. 7 shots deep.
awkward. Well, this guy is psycho. He's sadistic as fuck.
We need to just go walk in the woods. Let's go.
Your mind's about to be blown.
Where's Astral?
No.
I miss you. Astral.
R.I.P. Never have I shot one person.
She's like, and then I go, hey, Johnny.
Alright, D.
I see you.
Liz. Okay.
I just got this new job or whatever, and we do all these icebreakers and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I realized, like, every time those come up, I sound insane because none of my answers sound like a normal one. You know what I mean?
Like, what's the question?
Like, okay, one that really was just like, oh, I have no good answer for this, and anything I can think of sounds morbid as fuck, was if you were trapped on a desert island, what 3 things would you bring or whatever?
Okay.
Everyone's like, I'd bring my girlfriend and my dog or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, honestly, that's kind of mean to bring your
yeah,
girlfriend.
and then they're stuck with even less.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
dude, you took them away from their whole family because you're bored? What
Yeah.
a dick move, right? But anyway, so mine would be like, you know, some like basics like food and water, and then like a gun, because at some point I'm gonna want to kill myself.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or defend yourself too.
or defend myself, sure,
But yeah.
more than likely I'm gonna like hurt myself, because have you met me? I'm clumsy as fuck. I'm gonna hurt myself. I'm gonna be like bleeding out. I'm like, I should just end this now. Oh, look at this convenient gun that I brought. I know that sounds awful, but I mean, it's a desert island.
You're a realist.
Basically. But I need to come up with answers that make me sound like a normal person, things like that, you know?
Okay, so just pretend you're Becky.
Becky.
And then what answer would you give?
I would bring my favorite book and an iPod that's gonna die in like 2
Yeah,
hours.
no electricity.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on. I'm bound to die pretty soon.
I would have made that mistake. I would have been like, my phone. I wouldn't have thought about
like your phone,
electricity.
like, what? Pictures of my family. I don't know. Something stupid. No, actually, afterwards, I was like, man, I could have just said, like, I'll bring my dog and food and water. Because, like, dogs only live, like, 10 years anyways.
Yeah.
On an island, I'm not going to make it that long. So,
And if you die first, he can eat you.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And honestly, my dog I think she's pretty happy with just hanging out with just me. So I think she wouldn't mind that too
She
much
seems
at all.
pretty legit. Like,
She
she
really
seems
does.
pretty happy.
Yeah, she just wants to cuddle. So, I mean, hey, that might work. So that's probably what I'm going to go
Okay.
for next time.
We can practice.
Practice? Okay.
Let's see. This is something that came in my
Oh,
kid's
gosh.
Happy Meal. And it's table talk.
Shut up.
Something.
What are the chances you have this right in front of you?
Because I actually put it there because I was like, oh, this could be something for... And I was like,
You
oh, I'll
knew
mess
it.
with it later. So I just, like, put it to the side. Let's see. What's the most exciting thing you've ever done on a trip?
I don't take trips. I'm so poor.
A lot of these are about... I think this is, like, a travel themed.
Or something stupid. I'm like, got arrested. No, don't say that.
Ooh, what's the best snack for a long car ride? What do I always get? I always get jerky.
Of course.
I always get jerky and
Like
sunflower
Bucky's
seeds.
jerky. It has to be Bucky's though.
Yeah, I like Bucky's jerky.
Yeah, definitely. Or the 2 truths and a lie thing.
Oh,
Like,
I like that.
I should just have one standard set up in my brain because
That you always go to.
It's come up so many times in so many classes and
Which
so
one's
many.
a lie?
Yeah, exactly. And I always have to come up with it on the spot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so boring. I can't think of anything, and I don't want to share anything with these people. So antisocial. I just don't want to like talk to anyone. I'm like, please don't ask me about myself.
Please don't.
If like me and you happen to be having a conversation, that's cool. I will probably share way too much. But
Yeah.
I don't want to be
I have no filter.
yeah, I have no filter, but as soon as I'm in front of the whole class, I'm like, I have nothing to say. Thank you.
I think I have a little bit more of a filter than you do.
Oh, I would absolutely say so.
Hey, a filter's a filter. Don't knock it.
It doesn't work very well.
Okay, guys. Hello and welcome. You're listening to RidicuLiz, a podcast based in Houston where we discuss all things scandalous, bizarre, and downright ridiculous. Okay, so we're back. So, first of all, this is our first time back since the new year.
Woo!
It's not the new year yet for us,
Yeah.
but when you hear this, it will be. When is New Year's? It's on Monday night,
Yes.
and today is...
Friday.
Okay, so it's our last weekend in 2018. And let me tell you, I got a weekend planned of a whole lot of nothing.
Woo, my favorite.
So, Oxford Dictionary. In 2018, the word of the year is toxic.
Ooh.
Yeah. Did I print out the list of the maybes? They were pretty funny.
I know my year was a bit of a mess.
Oh, these are the ones that made the short list. Gaslighting, incel, techlash, gammon, big dick energy.
Okay.
Cakeism.
What is that?
Cakeism, I don't know. Over-tourism.
Okay.
Orbiting. I don't know about some of those. Gaslighting, maybe.
Yeah, all day.
Big dick energy.
Really? Oxford?
Yeah. According to, I mean, maybe this is like World News National, that big fake site. I don't know.
I don't believe a thing you say.
I think 2018 was pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't think
toxic.
it was. I don't think it was super toxic for me.
No, mine was awful.
Was yours awful?
Oh, mine was awful.
Is your 2019 gonna be better?
Better fucking maybe. I don't see how it could be worse, to be honest. So I mean.
Okay, so I've got a story for you. It kind of takes us back to episode 1. Okay, so back in episode 1, we talked about a cannibal. I don't know if you remember, guys. The cannibal on the bus, Tim McLean. That was like, it was so crazy. So this is kind of similar. Renee Hartzelt.
Ooh, I like that one.
Renee was a beautiful young Jewish Dutch girl going to Sorbonne University in Paris. She was in a lecture on Salvador Dali. Do you know this? Mm-hmm. I love him. When Issei Sagawa noticed her. I was trying to look up more information on her, but everything I found was about him. So yeah, to this day, her parents have declined to speak about the case, and since it was in the 80s, she had no online presence. Sagawa said the first time he spoke to her was after that lecture, the Salvador Dali. He said he was attracted to her beauty, the fact that she was not French, and that she was Jewish and her skin was not white like most European women, but darker. Adding that while Audrey Hepburn is generally seen as the ideal woman among Japanese, he has always preferred the Grace Kelly type, so like more curvy and, alright. Me too.
Okay.
Over time, Sagawa struck up a friendship with Renee, occasionally inviting her to his home for dinner. At some point, he gained her trust. He said he recently... What? Oh, he'd been inviting prostitutes back to his apartment. Not for sex, but he wanted to eat them.
Oh,
and
wait,
he kept
okay,
trying.
So she didn't know about this, I'm assuming.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh my god.
So, okay.
You remind me of a weird ass fucking...
You've probably heard about this. Or they probably made a movie. I think they made a movie about it.
There was this like bizarre ass TV show. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
A TV show?
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably nothing like this. Honestly, I'm just tripping.
No, I feel like he has been in something that was like... Oh, no, it was a porn. Never mind.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that was way later.
No,
Gave away like the ending. Okay, so he had been inviting them back to his apartment, and when they were like turned around to wash their hands in the sink, he put like a gun to their head. But then he said that he never actually killed anyone. He said he was too scared like to pull the trigger, and that he would get scared and put the gun away. I'm like, how many times did you do this? So what did you just make him leave after that? Like, because he said he never had sex with them.
They probably just like took off immediately.
Yeah,
like,
if they saw it. I don't know if they saw it either.
Oh.
So, because it was when they were turned around.
Oh.
I don't know. He said like he made it seem like he was coming up from behind to them.
Yeah.
And like to kill them to then eat them.
It seems like somebody would turn
yeah,
around
exactly.
And be like, hi, you're behind
how
me.
many times did that really happen?
Yeah.
Okay, so he apparently did this over a period of weeks. He couldn't pull the trigger. He said it wasn't for moral or religious reasons. He was just scared. And he felt like he would be giving in to his desires. But it was more than a desire. It was an obligation. It was something that he felt he had to do in the end, saying, that's the little thing about an obsession. It means whatever your brain or body tells you to do, you have to do it. You become a slave to your obsession.
Yeah, that's how they say it goes.
Yeah. So, he, over a period of weeks, he managed to spend more and more time with Renee, discussing art and drinking coffee and preaching cafes. At this time, he had bought a light automatic rifle from a hunting shop. Eventually, on the pretext that he needed to record a poem for class, he convinced her to accompany him to his apartment. She was standing at the sink washing her hands, with her back to me, and I just had images of the prostitutes with their backs to me, Sagawa said. The wheels of delusion in my mind started to spin, and it was like the scenario I had been through so many times in my head. But it's still a mystery to me how so much of my life has not gone according to plan, but that day did. I feel bad for saying it, but it went so well.
What year was this?
This was like 80. I just put 80s.
Damn.
Yeah, damn.
Okay, so what was his obsession exactly? Like,
oh, like eating. Like, okay, I think I explained it a little bit.
His
like,
obsession was eating the people.
Yeah, he was like wanting to eat her so bad.
Okay.
So that's what he doesn't necessarily want to kill her. He just wants to eat her.
Okay.
So he put the rifle to the back of her head, took a deep breath, exhaled, and pulled the trigger. He attempted to kill her once unsuccessfully before actually murdering her. The first time the gun misfired when her back was turned. She fell over onto the table. There was blood on the poem that she had been reading and tape recorder, but then she slipped onto the floor, Sagawa said. I jumped back and watched her face turn completely white. Then I thought, what have I done? He only faced an instant of remorse before it turned to elation. I thought about calling an ambulance, he recalled, but then I thought, hang on, don't be stupid. You've been dreaming about this for 32 years, and now it's actually happening. So, about 10 years before this, when he was 23 and living in Tokyo with his parents, a German girl moved into his neighborhood, and one day, like, he became obsessed with her and was like watching her all the time, like just from his windows and stuff. He decided to go into her room. He didn't want to kill her, but he just wanted to eat part of her butt, is what he said. Her buttocks.
Did he slice it off?
He just wanted to bite into it.
I mean, I understand the feeling, but you gotta stop before you break the skin.
So, equipped with only an umbrella and a plastic Frankenstein mask to aid in his attack.
That's not gonna help you. You're trying to bite her butt. You need something
that you can actually bite through.
A whole, like a schema. I don't know, something.
So he went inside the room. The girl was sleeping, but his knee accidentally touched her and woke her up. So she started screaming. And he's like trying to get away, but she grabs him and holds him down and screaming for help until people come. So he was actually arrested.
Yes.
So he was arrested and taken to jail for attempted rape, but the charges were soon dropped after a hefty payment from his father to the girl. So his dad was super rich. That's why it's the Affluenza Cannibal Killer. I don't think I said that earlier. That's the name of this, by the way. Issei Sagawa, the Affluenza Cannibal.
That's why he was able to just like pay all these prostitutes for nothing.
Yeah. So perplexed by his son's actions, he sent his son to see a psychiatrist. Not perplexed enough to actually make him accountable for his actions, though.
No.
The doctor Sagawa saw concluded that he was extremely dangerous, but no actions were taken. And 5 years later, in 1977, Sagawa packed his bags and checked out of Japan and moved to Paris.
Jesus.
Yep. So flash forward back to Renee. Immediately after killing her, he raped her corpse and began cutting her open.
Why didn't he at least have sex with the prostitutes then? Maybe
he did. I just didn't say. I didn't see any information on that. It looked like it was just like he tried and then that was it.
Maybe that's why they were washing their hands. It's because they just
yeah, maybe it was after the fact. Maybe it had been there for a while.
Right.
So yeah, he began cutting her open. It was the first time I had seen a dead body, and I was really shocked, he said. I wanted to eat her buttock, but I had to flip her over, and she was heavy. I tried to bite into her buttocks, but the flesh was too hard. Buns us through. I tried. Oh, that's horrible. I shouldn't say that. Cut that out. I tried to use a fruit knife, but that didn't work either. So I went out and bought a curved knife. No matter how deep I cut, all I saw was the fat beneath the skin. That's rude.
Right? Like, fucking, you should have picked a better
kill.
Fuck
you, man. It looked like corn. Ew.
That's crazy.
And it took a while to actually reach the red meat. The moment I saw the meat, I took a chunk off with my fingers and threw it into my mouth. It was truly a historical moment for me. Fuck you. A lot of people ask me what it's like, and I do not usually like the answer to that question because it was just so delicious. I can recall it now. It was like the best tuna without the smell. Sagawa says that in the moments of clarity, he was repulsed by his actions, but then he had sex with the corpse.
I mean, that should help.
Yeah, that should help with my repulsion. Let me just do something about it.
I'm so repulsed.
It's funny. I can't remember her face now. He said, I can't believe that.
I gained her trust and killed her and ate her, but I don't remember what she looks like.
I don't remember what she looks like. Sagawa said he did not want to eat the entire corpse, but over the next couple of days, he sliced up parts of the body and stored them in his fridge. Photos later released by the French police to the media are quite simply horrific. In black and white, A Small Mercy, they show graphically what Sagawa did to Renee's remains and the plates of meat he prepared for consumption.
God.
Ultimately, he said his only regret was that he hadn't eaten her while she was alive. That's his only regret.
I was gonna say, why didn't you test it out or something first? There's got to be somewhere that you could
knock her out.
Yeah, something,
But then would you want to be alive through that?
Well, no, but I mean,
yeah.
No, I was hoping he'd cut off his own leg.
Yeah. Let's try it myself first, see if I like it. He said the reasons behind his cannibalistic tendencies cannot be explained or conceptualized. It's simply a fetish, he said. For example, if a normal man fancied a girl, he'd naturally feel a desire to see her as often as possible, to be close to her, to smell her, and to kiss her, right? To me, eating is just an extension of that. Frankly, I can't fathom why everyone doesn't feel this urge to eat to consume other people.
Whoa.
So weird.
That is very...
He held up in his Paris apartment for 48 hours after the murder. He finally emerged on June 13th, 1981. Oh, there's our year. So it was in the 80s. Dragging 2 large suitcases, he had eaten or frozen most of her pelvic region. So he put her legs, torso, and head into the suitcases and hailed a cab. He instructed the driver to take him to a nearby park. The man and his cargo traveled through the city streets undetected. Arriving at the I tried to write it phonetically and I still can't. Bhad Bhabie. Good. I think it's supposed to sound French. Bhad Bhabie. I don't know.
Oh, there we go.
A densely wooded park on the outskirts of Paris. Issei believed that this was the best place to hide the evidence of his crime. However,
the cab driver was like, hey.
This is weird. What are you doing, dude? And with the island restaurant, it was a popular destination. It did not go unnoticed that a 4'9", smartly attired Asian man was struggling to drag 2 large suitcases to the lake. He sat on a nearby bench to rest, but fell asleep, only to awaken to the sound of an elderly man opening one of the bleeding suitcases. When the old man started to scream, the killer stood up and walked away into the night. Police arrived at the scene within minutes. The chief of police described it in the documentary as appalling and nightmarish. After an autopsy, they quickly figured out how she died, but she was so badly disfigured that they didn't know who she was.
Oh my gosh. His reaction just seems like, yeah, whatever, she'll be taken care of.
Yeah.
How do you fall asleep in the middle of hiding your body?
That's why I was like, how?
Because you've never had any problems. You're just like,
I'm just gonna leave these. I didn't even put them in the water. I just left them on a thing and then
next to me and passed out. What the fuck?
So dumb. It was the dumbest thing I've ever read in my life.
I love these dumbass criminals.
Okay, so they launched a massive manhunt across Paris. The press got out the description of the tiny Asian man seen at the park, and they soon had a lead. The taxi driver had seen the description and called the police station. He said he remembered taking an Asian man there, matching that description. He said he had taken him to the park and that he had been a bit surprised because he thought he would have had to take him to the railroad station because of the suitcases.
Mm-hmm.
Then, less than 48 hours, police took into custody their prime suspect from the front of his apartment. When police found him and questioned him, his response was a simple admission. I killed her to eat her flesh, he said.
Okay.
They're like, whoa, dude. We didn't even know anyone was being eaten. Right, you just offered that information
That was, easy and very difficult at the same time.
Okay. In his apartment, they discovered overwhelming evidence of cannibalism. When they opened his little fridge, it was full of little slices of human flesh. They found a plate with the remains of a meal cooked. The remains of a meal with cooked human flesh and condiments such as mustard.
That's it. I'm gonna need more information about how he ate his people. I am sorry. I'm gonna need him to write a cookbook, damn it.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Hey, is there a cookbook? Oh my god, tell me there's a fucking cookbook.
There's something. They also found the idea of the Dutch student and finally knew who was in the suitcases. When Issei Sagawa murdered, dismembered, and devoured Renee Hartefelt in 1981, it was fulfilling a dream 32 years in the making. Oh yeah, in the first grade, he noticed a classmate's thighs and thought, that looks delicious. He was always short and skinny with legs that looked like pencils. He blamed the media's representation of Western women like Grace Kelly for sparking his cannibalistic fantasies, equating it with what most people would call sexual desire. Where other people dreamed of bedding these beautiful women, Sagawa dreamed of eating them. He maintains, however, that he never thought of killing them, only gnawing on their flesh.
Did he ever consider pegging? Because it seems like he just wants them inside him, so...
Pegging?
Oh god.
What is that?
It's when the girl is the guy.
Oh, like she...
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean...
Okay. Yeah, he should explore
at
things.
least started there.
Yeah, he should have explored other opportunities.
Options. Come on. Maybe that's why we can be right.
What? Okay. He says his earliest memory of his craving was a dream he had when he was 5 of his parents chasing him and trying to eat him. He also said his uncle would play a game with him, him and his brother, where he would chase them and put them in a big pot and pretend to make soup.
Conditioning like crazy. Holy fuck.
Okay, so Issei Sagawa awaited his trial for 2 years in a French prison. When it was finally time for him to be tried, French judge Jean-Louis Brocoru declared him legally insane and unfit to stand trial, dropping the charges and ordering him to be held indefinitely in a mental institution. Sagawa used his time behind bars to write In the Fog, an account of his actions, and his father's legal team quickly convinced the French authorities that he would be better cared for closer to his family in Japan.
What? Like in an institution, correct? God, I hate people.
Back in his homeland, Sagawa was sent to Matsuwa Hospital and interviewed by psychologists who disagreed with their French counterparts and found their subject to be sane and declared that the sexual perversion was the sole motivation for his actions.
And
so
his
deemed
parents gave me a lot of money, so
probably. And here's our new Sagawa wing. So deemed to be sane and never found guilty of a crime, in 1986 he checked himself out of the mental institution and has been free ever since. Today, Issei Sagawa walks the streets of Tokyo where he lives, free to do as he pleases. Yes.
If you could see my face, what the fuck? Like,
doesn't it just make your skin crawl?
Yes.
Okay. So the desire to eat people becomes so intense around June. This is a quote from him, sorry. When women start wearing less and showing more skin, he says.
Why does he only
just
want
today,
to eat women?
I don't know. Just today, I saw a girl with a really nice derriere on my way to the train station. When I see things like that, I think about wanting to eat someone again before I die.
Bite it nicely.
He's crazy. What I'm saying is, I can't bear the thought of leaving this life without ever tasting that derriere that I saw this morning, or her thighs. I want to eat them again while I'm alive, so that I can at least be satisfied when I die. So he's literally telling everyone, I want to do this crime again.
And then he's like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
and
but you're free. But you're free.
And chilling, eating people.
He said he's even planned how he'll do it.
Cool, great.
He goes, I think either sukiyaki, I'm not saying that right, or shahabu, which is lightly boiled thin slices, is the best way to go. In order to really savor... Boiled thin slices, yeah. I don't know.
What the fuck?
In order to really savor the flavor of the meat.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds really bad. You should, fry.
Yeah, obviously, right?
Pan fry, it's fine.
Yeah. And honestly, how do you know that's just not how she was best cooked?
Yeah.
You don't know what this next person's body's going to be like. Maybe they're not as fatty. Maybe they need, a different type of cook style.
A little roast, rump roast?
Yeah.
Rump roast.
Yes.
Literally.
There we go. We are the worst.
That's horrible. Okay, so over the following years, he became a celebrity, writing 20 books, regular newspaper columns, and restaurant reviews. That's why I was laughing when you said cookbooks. He wrote restaurant reviews.
How can you trust his review, really?
You really can't. He was throwing uncooked chunks of human butt into his mouth.
And fucking is saying thinly sliced boiled human meat is the best.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't trust those reviews.
I don't either.
Yelp. Okay. He was also invited to
Are you
appear.
dead yet, please?
He was also invited to appear on television cooking shows and happily played along when asked to sample slices of raw meat. And he appeared in the low-budget porn film Unfaithful Wife, Shameful Torture, in which he bites the buttocks of the actress. Most recently, he published his 20th work titled Extremely Intimate Fantasies of Beautiful Girls. The book is filled with pictures drawn by himself as well as other famous artists.
It's just a kill list.
Basically.
Oh my god, I can't.
I hope that people who will read it will at least stop thinking of me as a monster, he said. Not likely.
You just keep talking. You're doing yourself a lot of good.
Okay, so currently Sagawa is 69 years old. Yeah.
How many people has he been since, huh?
He looks physically deformed at under 5 feet with his head with a head that is too large for his body and stumpy fingers on childlike hands. He suffers from diabetes, and if you were unaware of his dark past, you would probably feel sorry for him. His apartment walls are covered in pictures of naked women, girls in bikinis, and provocative poses cut out of magazines and other gaudy, cheap decor. The only room free of pornography on the walls is his office, where he works and writes, and where he has a large black and white picture of his now deceased parents gazing over him. In his bathroom, he has pictures of women he has been
Eaten.
in. Okay, I don't think I meant to write been in.
Been in?
But yeah, that he's had sex with. I don't think I meant to write it that way. That was like a weird kind of
Well,
probably.
okay.
Probably been with. Okay. A
Okay.
woman he had been with before women could just Google his name and find out the horrible things he had done.
Yeah.
His tables are cluttered with overdue bills and dust. He claims police constantly harass him and constantly thinks about killing himself, but he's too scared to actually do it. Yeah. He has fantasies of beautiful women killing him by drowning him in their spit.
We can do that.
Ew. Thankfully, this will probably never happen, and he will die lonely and sad and waste away into nothing. If they can bear to think of him, Renee's family may take some satisfaction from the fact that the man who caused them so much pain is experiencing some discomfort of his own. It is, after all, the only justice they will ever get for their daughter.
His discomfort is that he's old now?
Yeah, basically.
Oh no.
So I'm ending on a weird quote from him.
Oh no.
I have the same desires today, of course. They will continue until I die. I like elegant women. I like intelligence and beauty. I like when I am able to see all of that in one person. Then I cannot help but wonder what she might taste like.
So,
And that
did
was...
he admit to eating any more people?
No.
No?
No.
Hmm.
So we don't know if he did or not. He was pretty, watched, though.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have gotten away with it.
He should be harassed by police. I mean, even though he's innocent.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so bizarre that he had his parents' pictures up. I get it.
So the way they described the apartment, it looked like everything was, gross, and, he had all this except for his office was, clean and pristine, where they could, see from the picture.
Yeah.
And I'm that's really weird.
Yeah, but the way they took care of him, I could see his weird
and he was,
relationship
really
with
tiny and that, and he had, a really big head. He looks like a little alien.
baby.
Like an alien baby, yeah.
Oh, gross.
Okay. And that's the Affluenza Cannibal. Woo!
Just be rich.
Just be rich. Okay, we're gonna end this like we always do.
What do we
with the wheel of endings. Okay, so anyway, you do first.
Me first?
Spin the wheel.
Okay. Unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
Alright, so I'm gonna start with something that shouldn't be very controversial.
Okay.
But for some reason, every time I say it, people yell at me.
Okay.
So,
right.
Here we go.
I'm ready to yell.
I like Bhad Bhabie.
Bhad Bhabie, what's that?
Daniel Bergoli, the Cash Me Outside girl.
Oh! Okay, isn't Bhad Bhabie spelled really weird?
B-H-A-D.
Okay, you you genuinely like her singing, or you like her as a person?
Both. I like her music and her.
Okay, so what has she done?
I don't know. Her music, I actually like it. It's really pretty decent, especially if you consider that she's 15 or something like that. She's 15, yeah, exactly.
I feel like she should be like 20 by now.
I know, right? It's insane. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of it's not that great, but like, I think it's pretty decent, especially if you consider like what the rap that's coming out now. It's like,
definitely. To be fair, I don't listen to any other rap that comes out now. I think the last thing I listened to Ariana Grande song. Oh. Just because, I don't know, there was a link to it and I looked at it.
But yeah, I don't know, it's comparable to rap recently. Shit, even Snoop Dogg was like, yeah, this song's alright.
Really?
Yeah, there's a video of it. Let me see if I can find it.
Alright. I actually love Snoop Dogg, so.
Right? Same. Exactly. But also, I am just, like, yes, she got famous off a stupid reason. You know, everyone's like, oh, you're supporting her getting famous off of being a dumb little bitch. I'm like, yeah, maybe that's how she started, but it looks like she's actually turning it into something, which is more than you can say for most people. So
just stay dumb bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Like, turning it into something at 15, fucking, like, maybe she's still acting stupid here and there, getting into fights and whatever, but she's 15. Who wasn't stupid when they were 15? But yeah, so, I don't know. I just, like, respect for, like, turning it into something decent. But let me.
I think you might have changed my mind.
I mean, I don't have to. You can feel free to not like her. You know, I'm not really concerned.
That's all I think. When I think of her, I don't think about music or anything like that. Like I've seen that name.
Yeah, all you see is the Catch Me Outside. Yeah,
but exactly. The Catch Me Outside thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was so annoying. That was the most annoying thing that ever happened of 2000.
Yeah, I didn't care for that at all. But actually, I started watching her. She had a YouTube channel, and where she would like do reactions.
Before or after
she had music. Oh, but after. After she started doing music, and then like people would react to her music and like talk a bunch of shit, and she would react to them reacting and talk a bunch of shit back. And like sometimes she was not the greatest, but some of the shit she said was hilarious, and I was like, okay, I kind of like her. And then I actually started liking her music too, and I was like, oh Gord, this is happening. Oh Gord, help me out, this is happening. But you might have to turn the volume up. I love it. That's banging.
Okay, you have to email me that.
Yeah, definitely. And there's also another version of that song where he's on it. Like,
really?
He's featured on one of her songs. Like, dude, are you kidding me? You have Snoop Dogg on one of your songs?
That's cool.
Yeah, so I have a feeling everyone's gonna start changing their opinion on that.
Okay.
But I don't know.
A lot of people change their opinion on like
the Miley Cyrus thing.
Okay, yeah.
How they she went bad all over it.
Now everyone loves her again. And she's like wholesome again apparently.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I feel like you can't talk shit because her house just burned down.
Oh, did it? Yeah. You can talk shit whenever.
Alright, I'm gonna spin the wheel.
Okay.
Recommendations! Okay, this is perfect because yesterday or the day before we watched Birdbox. Have you seen that yet?
No.
Oh my god! You haven't seen all like the memes and stuff that are going like all over? Okay, so you're gonna start seeing a bunch of memes with Sandra Bullock and two little kids with cloth over their like bandanas over their eyes because you can't see. Okay, so people are calling it like A Quiet Place 2. Have you seen that movie? Okay, you don't watch a lot of movies.
No, I don't. I don't. Movies suck so hard.
No. Okay, so it's basically just like a thriller, and there's something that they can't see, and the people who seem to look at it seem to like kill themselves soon after that they look at it. And they're like seeing the truth or something. I don't know. It's like an end of days kind of whatever. But she lasts 6 years, and it takes place over like 6 years or something. And it's really freaking good. And like everyone online and like on Twitter and everyone's talking about it. Mm-hmm. It's so twisted and you have to watch it.
Alright, yeah.
So that's my recommendation. And everyone to watch it. And I'm going to put a bunch of memes now.
Alright, text me because I'm going to forget.
Okay. Well, it was fun hanging out with you.
Yes.
But stay tuned because we're going to make an announcement. After this, I'll insert something about our giveaway.
Yes.
Alright. Bye, guys. Bye.
Hey y'all, it's giveaway time, and who doesn't like free stuff? We're giving you a $50 Visa gift card, and all you gotta do is rate and or review us on any platform. Take a screenshot and email it to RidicuLizPodcast@gmail.com. That's RidicuLiz podcast@gmail.com. You'll get a submission for a rate and a review. So if you do both, you'll get 2. You can get 1 extra submission a day if you share any of our posts on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter and tag us. Must be 18 or over and live in the U.S. for shipping. Deadline is February 21st, and winner will be announced in the following week's episode and emailed privately. Good luck, guys. Thanks for listening to RidicuLiz. Our cover art is done by Ashley Cole. Check out our website and blog at RidicuLizPod.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at RidicuLizPod, on Instagram at RidicuLizPodcast. And if you have any ridiculous stories of your own, please email us at RidicuLizPodcast@gmail.com. That's RidicuLiz podcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and wherever else you get your podcasts. More importantly, if you like our show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It's really the best way to help us out. We're also an independent show, so if you would like to support us and get a shout out, visit our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/RidicuLiz. See you next time.
Of course I want the Affluenza Cannibal. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh. She didn't even know that was an actual TV show. You've heard of it, right?
Mm-mm.
Snapped? Oh, my gosh, no one has. I thought everyone had. Maybe it's not on anymore. It used to be on Oxygen or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only women who killed people, which I love.
Hell yeah.
And it was usually women who, like, snapped with their horrible husbands and killed them. But
Good.
the show is just called Snapped, and it's just women who snap. When she came up, I was like the TV show. She was like, what? All right, never mind. No one knows me. I thought it was a great show.
Well, I'll check it out. I have not even heard of it.
Was that right? It's all okay.
Yeah. Well, also, if I think of an absurd thing, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't say this, but it's so funny. I'm gonna say it. So that's my filter. It's just a really bad filter.
Okay, guys. Hello and welcome. Should I wait till I'm done? I didn't think that through. I've literally been Sagawa. I'm gonna mess it up so many times.
I mean, not murdering porn stars, although that'd be a freaking minefield.
Yeah.
Like you're
like behind the scenes.
No, I'm talking like you know how they have stupid titles basically of store.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of a title, but I can't think of a title. The porn
Armageddon.
Yeah, something like that. So, like, somehow find. Okay, so what I was thinking of, it's not porn. I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's just a terrible movie.
Okay.
Like the lesbian vampire killers or whatever. I'm pretty sure that's just a.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure it's just an awful movie, but it like kind of sounds like it could be porn, right?
Yeah.
But it also seems like a good story for murder. So.